What's up, guys? This was one of the videos that was requested, so I'm gonna do it. Just filmed a makeup look, so that's why I'm this glam. I'm not usually this glam in my house. Talking about giving birth. Now let's just start off with saying this is my experience. Everybody's experience is different. So let's start from the beginning. What I did was I took a pregnancy test. Boom, came out positive. Me and Hio were fortunately not in a situation that, you know, we're gonna have a baby. It was more like a, okay, like, yay, I guess, you know. God, we weren't in a bad situation. We were actually in the process of moving, so everything pretty much worked out, oddly enough. So it kind of just, we kind of just jumped the gun. It wasn't like anything, oh, you know, now we have a baby together, let's move in together. It was nothing like that. I waited until we moved into our apartment to tell my parents. Of course, the first people I told were Giovanni's mom and my mom, and that's all I wanted to know because I had experienced a miscarriage before. So I was like, I want to make sure that everything's okay with the baby before I start telling anybody. I waited till I was 5 months to share my pregnancy with everybody. That means literally social media, my family, everything. To dealing with the miscarriage, every ultrasound that I went to, I didn't want to excite myself. So I will say that my pregnancy was the most chillest pregnancy because I wanted to just keep myself calm. That was my main focus. I remember with my first pregnancy, I was so stressed out. I was freaking out, of course. At that time, there was no way that I was ready or prepared for a baby. You know, God has his reasons, and I will tell my daughters that they do have an older brother. His name is Jaden, and you know, watching over, he is never forgotten, trust me. Anyway, so, oh man, that just got me a little emotional. The first time I went to my ultrasound, mind you, I was expecting to be pregnant with one baby. She's moving the camera. I'm like, oh, I see one little thing. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so cute, right? You know? And then I see another. I swear to you, they looked completely different. Like one looked like, obviously I was only 8 weeks, so it was like a little turd, you know? But it kind of looked more of a baby. And then the other one was just like a complete blob. Like, it didn't even look like a baby. So I thought like there was something there trying to attack my baby. Like, am I gonna go through a miscarriage all over again? But no, it actually turned out to be that no, it was another child. Go figure. Doctor was like, do twins run in your family? No, they don't. So I never ever would have ever thought that I would have been pregnant with twins. Go figure. Or pregnant at all, but whatever. It just happened to be that Giovanni's family 3 generations back had a pair of twins. It just got sprinkled the blessing on me. You know, I'm already nervous because I had a miscarriage already and now I'm carrying 2, and my twins were monodyed twins, which basically means that they shared the same placenta but were in different sacs. Okay, so monodyed twins equals high risk pregnancy. I had to be in the hospital, girl, like a lot of times, let's just say, more than the usual. Usually women go to the to ultrasounds like once a month or whatever. I had to go every week. I was very popular. My vagige was very popular as well. Yeah, everything went well with the pregnancy, obviously. What I can give as a tip to my pregnant women is don't listen to anybody, man. Don't. Like, I'm telling you, everybody has their opinion. Everybody's gonna be like, oh, you should be doing this. Oh, you should be eating this. Oh, you didn't do that. Oh, what about this and what about that? Look, follow your instincts. If you feel that you're okay and you want that, have it. If you feel like sitting down because you don't want to walk no more, sit down. I'm active, I'm up, I'm swimming, I'm doing everything that I could possibly do, and I'm also carrying twins. You know, some people are just not going to understand, and some people take pregnancy as an excuse. Like, that's what pissed me off, is when people would literally be like, oh my God, like, yeah, you're pregnant, but it's not the end of the world. I know it's not the end of the world, but are you carrying 2 humans inside your stomach right now? I have 3 different personalities in me. I did. Did, like, hands down. That's another crazy thing. I knew when I was pregnant that I was gonna have one sensitive one and one just crazy one, and I do. Riley is my sensitive one and Joy is just crazy. Be able to feel that when you're pregnant, you become so in tune with your baby's emotions and your emotions. So I was, look, I'm not gonna complain. My pregnancy was amazing, but my emotions were like here and there. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Mom's insurance wasn't gonna cover maternity for me at all, so you know I had to get my own insurance. I got my dad did a move for this doctor who happened to be a OBGYN. So this OBGYN told me that he would take care of my case. Mind you, I'm 25 weeks. I'm getting close to my end, you know, so technically now I'm just being thrown to another doctor because he said he would do it for no charge until my insurance situation was figured out. So I went to him. He gives me an option of whether I want him to be my doctor or not, and then whenever my insurance comes in, he will accept it and whatever. So I was like, all right, cool, yeah, like, might as well, you're already checking me out, you're cool with my dad, like, sure, pop out my children for me. I did about 3 visits with that doctor. On my 3rd visit, he pretty much just kicked me out. Like, he was like, oh, did you figure out your insurance or whatever? And I was like, yeah, I got this insurance. And he was like, okay, well, in this office we don't accept that insurance, but don't worry, I have other doctors that can, you know, assist you. Now I'm already 3 appointments in with this man, so I'm already late in my, you know, pregnancy, and I'm like, what? Anyways, he threw me to another doctor, and at this point I just really needed someone to just literally take my children out. Imagine how I feel, because, you know, any woman that's pregnant wants to build a connection and a relationship with their doctor. I ended up just with a doctor, you know, that I didn't know, but thank God she ended up being an amazing doctor. Her name is Elizabeth Chef. I love her, highly recommend her. She was the best. 8 weeks, again, I started to feel contractions because of the whole switch up with the doctor. Elizabeth Chef was located in Edgewater, which means that she worked with the Hoboken medical center, and I'm like 45 minutes away from Hoboken, so obviously in an emergency I'm not going down to Hoboken. What's next to me is Holy Name, so I decided to go to Holy Name. They check me and they're like, yeah, you're 2 centimeters dilated. What they did was they had to shoot me up with some, oh my god, it was horrible. I forgot that I went through this. It's so crazy. They shot me through with magnesium just to help slow down the contractions, and all I remember was the lady saying, when I inject you with this, you are going to feel really hot, but we can't give you water, we can't give you anything just in case you do end up giving birth. If they do a C-section, you're not allowed to have anything in your stomach. Oh, here I am at like 2 a.m. in the morning getting shot with magnesium, and they have to hook you up like already, like if you're already giving birth, and for anyone who has given birth knows that the IV goes through here, hurts so bad. And the girl that was doing me, like, she could not find my vein, and I got really mad, and I was like, you need to send me another nurse that knows what she's doing, because you keep poking my veins, and I have skinny hands, you could see my veins from here, so if you can't get it, that's your problem. I got so mad. I don't like needles, like I really don't do well with needles. So I was like, you need to get me another nurse. So another nurse comes, she does the injection for me, whatever. They shoot me up with the magnesium. When I tell you, literally felt like I was in a pit of fire. I was burning beyond belief. I was asking for ice packs. I had ice packs here. I was so hot that the ice pack would melt, with no lie, within like 5 minutes. They had to keep on bringing me new ice packs. That's how hot you get. So I'm like extremely uncomfortable. These people are freaking out because unfortunately, Holy Name is not a level 3 hospital, and a level 3 hospital means that they have the equipment to take care of preemie, like really preemie babies, you know. They sent me over to St. Barnabas. So they were like freaking out, trying to get me out as soon as possible, because God forbid if I did end up giving birth, I would have to remain in the hospital and the babies would be taken to St. Barnabas, and I don't want to be away from babies. So I was like, no, it's not happening. They put me in the ambulance, whatever. We go to St. Barnabas. St. Barnabas runs a couple of tests and whatever. I love St. Barnabas. I love you guys so much. So much. You guys are the best hospital ever. Love you. Didn't have to shoot me up with magnesium. They took care of me. You know, they slowed down my contractions. My contractions were fine. And they were like, honestly, you're fine. Like, yeah, you're only a little bit dilated, but that's normal. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So they told me it was normal. Holy name was freaking loud. So I don't know. But anyways, they sent me home and I was completely fine. 2 weeks after, boom, I have contractions again. So at this point, I'm just like, already had a bad experience with Holy Name. I'm just gonna go to St. Barnabas. St. Barnabas is again another 45 minutes away from us. But we were like, it's a good hospital. So we went to St. Barnabas. They took care of me. I stood there for a couple hours. Nothing was up. The girls were just playing with me. So boom, I was sent back home. But with a high-risk pregnancy, you literally have to go to the hospital for anything and everything. Supposed to go to just a regular ultrasound. But for some reason, my doctor wanted another doctor's opinion on the twins, if they were good to, you know, like good, or how long they should cook up in me. So I went to this doctor, Dr. Principi. I do not like that man for the life of me. I wouldn't recommend him as a doctor. He works in Hoboken, Jersey City. I wouldn't recommend him, and here's why. So my doctor wanted, you know, more insight or whatever of, you know, how long she thought the baby should cook in me. So she sent me to this doctor just to get another opinion. Took a couple pictures, boom, you know, at first he was super cool. He comes off as a cool guy. And he told me, oh, the girls are perfect, you know, yeah, you could keep on holding on to them, you know, like you're good. I think at that point I was 31 weeks, I'm not sure. He was like, oh, everything's good, everything's perfect. So I was like, all right, cool. So I had an appointment for an ultrasound, right, in Edgewater, which with my OB, which is Chef, but she had an emergency, so she wasn't able to see me. They sent me to Dr. Principi's office. Staff is like, they're okay, but there's like this one tall chick that she's just so rude. We go into the room, right? She does an ultrasound, and she goes, oh, they're really low. Oh, they're really low. And I was like, what? And I asked her, I said, what? And she said, oh, they're low. Like, an attitude as in like, why am I asking her a question? I'm pregnant. Yes, I'm gonna ask you questions. And that's another thing. Do not be scared to ask questions. Ask all the questions in the world. This is your baby's life. This is you. This is your health. This is very important. It doesn't matter if they get mad. That's their job and that's what they get paid for. They need to inform you about everything. So I asked her, I said, yes, what did you say? Oh yeah, that they were low. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? And she was like, that they're low. And I was like, okay. So then me and my mom are there. She leaves the room and she goes to the girl, oh, I think she said babies are very low. And then she's like talking to this woman and she's like, oh, should I tell her to go to the hospital? And then the girl's like, yeah, you should go to the hospital. She called Principi and Principi was like, yeah, send her to the hospital. Mind you, he wasn't even there. You know, whatever. So they were gonna call ambulance, and I was like, if the hospital is like 5 minutes away, because mind you, I'm in Hoboken Medical Center is literally 5 minutes away. So I was like, I'll just drive because it makes no sense. So I go to the hospital. Mind you, I feel fine. I don't feel contractions. I don't feel anything. I feel completely fine. But again, if this lady is telling me that I'm 5 centimeters dilated, I'm gonna assume that she knows her job and I am 5 centimeters dilated, and I'm gonna go to the hospital. So we go to the hospital. Automatically, oh my god, it was so bad. We went to Hoboken Med. The nurse had no idea what she was doing. Again, she kept poking me and I couldn't find my vein again. And then another girl came in. She finally found it, whatever. So, my doctor was unavailable, so Principi took over. Mind you, I don't know him. Like, he doesn't know me. I'm comfortable with Chef. I'm not comfortable with him. And for me to take orders or listen to whatever you're suggesting, I need to see you. You need to interact with me. You need to contact me somehow, some way, figure it out. So anyways, Dr. Principi started giving orders to them, and he was like, oh, like telling them to shoot me up with magnesium. And I was so confused. And I said, why do I need the magnesium? Like, I don't feel bad. And mind you, they haven't even checked me. Like, they didn't check if I was dilated. Like, she just did an ultrasound and she said that they were low. But, like, no one stuck their fingers in me, because that's how they usually check if you're dilated. No one did that. So I was like, how do they know that I'm dilated? So, what do you call? So this is crazy. I forgot this happened. So no one checked me to see if I was dilated or not, and they automatically were like, oh, we're gonna do magnesium and whatever. So then I was like, okay, maybe, you know, whatever, we'll do the magnesium. So I let them do the magnesium on me again, and they put so much, they put the dosage way too high for me. Oh my god, this is so crazy. I forgot this happened. It wasn't bad, it wasn't sad, it's just I'm rethinking it and I'm like, wow, fucking crazy. Yeah, Giovanni was talking to me. My mom, my dad, my brother were in the room, and Gio was talking to me, and yeah, I started to hear him like fade, but I don't like people knowing that something's wrong with me, so I was just like, you know, like trying to move my head. And then my mom was like, Mima, are you okay? Like, you don't look okay. And then I was just like, you know, I started freaking out, and I was like, I needed everyone to stop talking, you know, like I was just like, and then I couldn't breathe, and I started panicking, and I'm like, so I start having an attack, and I have asthma. My mom runs out the room, and she's like, get me a nurse. And he like starts freaking out. He's like, get me a nurse, someone come in here, come in here. They come in, and they're like, oh my god, relax, honey, you have to relax. And I'm freaking because I can't breathe and I can't talk, I can't react. I have 10 different people asking me questions. Can you breathe? Can you say something? How are you feeling? What are you doing? And I'm like, I can't talk. So I'm getting frustrated that I can't talk. I'm getting like overwhelmed with these people asking me all these questions, and I'm just like literally having an asthma attack. So I started having a panic attack. And then whatever, they were like, oh, yeah, we're gonna have to bring the dosage down. I already have a high-risk pregnancy. You have 3 lives in your hand. So after that, they brought the dosage down, and I felt better. Then they come back in, and they start telling me that I became more dilated. They didn't tell me how much more dilated, and I don't even know if they know, because again, still no one had checked me. So I finally, so I had to stay there overnight. The next day in the morning, they call, the nurse comes in saying that they're gonna do another treatment of magnesium, and I'm like, no, they told me that I only had to do magnesium last night and that today I wouldn't need anything. And she was like, oh, well, Dr. Principi suggested that we should give you another dose of magnesium. And I was like, but I'm so confused how this doctor is giving you guys orders when he hasn't called me. He hasn't spoken to me, seen me, nothing. So how does he know, you know? And they're like, oh, well, Dr. Principi is like a very well-known doctor. And blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't care how well-known he is. I don't know him. So I told them no magnesium. They're like, okay, you do have to sign a form that you know, said that you don't want it. So I signed that form, yada, yada, yada. Then, another doctor comes in and goes, oh, we're gonna have to transfer you out because you've become more dilated and we're not a level 3 hospital. So in case anything happens, we need to send you to a level 3 hospital. Level 3 hospital happens to be St. Joseph's, right? Patterson. Oh my god. From the moment, I'm telling you, this story is crazy. From the moment they pick me up from the hospital, I get put in the ambulance, right? Because they sending me now to a level 3 hospital. I asked if they could send me to St. Barnabas, but they were like, oh, well, we don't associate with that hospital, so we only associate with the Patterson one. So anyways, I'm in the ambulance, whatever. The people are cool, you know, we're talking. And then we enter the hospital. No lie, it looks like prison. No, the entrance of the hospital is beautiful, like, it's, you know, they renovated it, but like the back entrance where you come in when you're getting brought in by ambulance, it looks like a prison. And then the room gets even worse. This just gets worse. So I'm getting pulled up, right? The nurse that's in charge of me, I guess, of my case, comes out and she's like, oh, welcome to St. Joseph's. You're officially now in the ghetto. She dead said, welcome to the ghetto. Who says that? Like, I'm thinking in my head, what kind of nurse would say that to somebody that may possibly give birth in this hospital? So I just stood quiet. I was like, okay. They bring me to my room. Yo, the room looked like straight up dungeon. Like, It was scary. They had me in a room where like my bed was that I was gonna lay in, no TV. And then they had like another room in it where they put the babies in, which looks like they kill babies there. It was like a scene from a scary movie. The colors were horrible. Like everything was just so dull and just gross. Like it was not cool. Being welcomed by saying welcome to the ghetto, I already have a bad taste in my mouth. It's just like, okay, so we're gonna start hooking you up. I was like, okay, well, no, I'm not taking a flu shot. And she was like, oh, but we really do recommend that you get a flu shot. And I was like, okay, but I'm telling you that no. Oh, well, you know, that the flu shot, you know, whatever. Like, they were questioning everything that I said. And I said, I know everything about the flu shot. I don't want it. It was like, okay, you have to sign this paper. I said no. I signed the paper for, you know, no flu shot. And then I'm starting to get on the bed, right? She's about to enter the catheter in me. But before she entered the catheter, I hear her speaking to a nurse saying, oh yeah, you have to bring this amount of dosage of magnesium. And I'm like, what? Again with the magnesium? And I was like, but I'm not even feeling contractions and no one has even checked me yet. So she tells me, oh, well, Dr. Principi will recommends for you to be on magnesium all of tonight until tomorrow afternoon. And I was like, again, I don't know who Dr. Principi is. I met this man one time to just tell me that my babies look great. That was it. I was like, who is this man? And they were like, oh, well, you know, again, he's a very well-respected doctor. And I said, okay, but my doctor is Elizabeth Sheff. I need to speak to her. And they were like, oh, well, Dr. Sheff is like right here and Principi's here. And I was like, I don't care. It's so unprofessional of you to even speak about another doctor like that. So I called Chef, since like obviously they weren't gonna get me in contact with her, and I told her, I said, I'm very uncomfortable with this situation. I have Dr. Principi taking care of my case that I don't even know who he is, but he keeps on suggesting to give me magnesium when yesterday I had a panic attack due to an overdose of magnesium. And then she was like, oh, okay, well, all right, that's fine. Tell them to not give you magnesium. I don't even know why they're recommending that to you if they haven't even checked that you're dilated. I'm like, yeah, but they keep saying that I'm dilated. And she's like, have they, you know, they're supposed to check inside you. I'm like, no one's had check inside me. So I told her, honestly, I think I'm just gonna go to St. Barnabas. So she was like, okay, like, you know, she okayed me. She said if I feel comfortable, then that's what I'm gonna do, because I just felt like I was in such bad hands. Like, the staff was so unprofessional. So when I told them that I was denying the magnesium and I don't want to take any more orders from Principi, that's when it turned left. Like, I swear to you, I don't know what Principi does for these people, but it was crazy. So I told them, I was like, well, Dr. Principi's not my doctor, whatever. And I said, and honestly, I don't agree with how you guys are just trying to put me on magnesium without even checking me or whatever. I was like, so honestly, I want to leave, because in case there is something that is gonna happen with me and my babies, I'm not gonna have my babies here. They got so pissed when I said that. They're like, oh my god, well, you know, like, Dr. Principi, when he recommends something, it's for the good and whatever and this and that. And I was like, I don't care, but I'm not gonna take any magnesium. Then they try to send another doctor to me to convince me as to why I should take Principi's advice and do the magnesium. And I was like, do you guys still not understand that I had a panic attack from that yesterday? And again, you guys haven't even checked me to see if I need magnesium. Like, they weren't getting that. And then the doctor was like, oh, well, yeah, but it was recommended by Principi. And I was like, okay, like, I'm done with trying to talk to you guys. So I was like, just give me a sign out sheet, like, we're leaving. When I said we were leaving, they sent in another doctor. And we had been going back and forth. Like, Hio had got into it with her for a little bit because he was so rude, bro. Like, she was talking to us. One, we're young. They don't think that we know. Two, we're young. Like, that's it. We're young. Like, people, because they think you're young parents, they think that you're dumb. They think that you can't be a good parent. Like, that's just what it is. So, she was like, well, you guys are talking as if you guys know what you're talking about. I told Hio to chill out. You know, I was like, calm down. I was like, we're just leaving. Like, we're not asking you anything. Like, we're leaving. And she was like, all right. So she hands me the paper and she goes, well, like, with the snottiest attitude, she was like, well, just to let you know, if your daughters die, it's your fault. That's what she said to me. She said, if my babies die, it's my fault. And I was like, I just looked at her, and like I said, I try to remain very calm during my pregnancy. I'm thankful that I have God in my life, because if I didn't have God in my life, I probably would have blacked out on her, and God knows what that would have brought me. Maybe I would have popped the babies out right then and there, you know. And I looked at her and I was like, wow. All I could think of, I swear this is exactly what I thought when she said that. I felt so sorry for her. That's all I could think of. I felt so sorry for her, and I was like, I'm gonna pray for you. You don't say that to someone that's pregnant and with a high-risk pregnancy with twins. Like, that's 2 lives gone. Like, you don't say that. So I just looked at her and I just felt so sorry for her. So we signed the papers and we got out. We left and we went to St. Barnabas. I checked in. They checked me if I was dilated. I wasn't dilated. I didn't need any extra magnesium. I stood in St. Barnabas for 2 hours. They were just checking me. Everything was completely normal, and they sent me home. I thank God. Like, so much, because God knows what could have happened if I would have listened to her or listened to them, or would have taken Dr. Principi's orders of trying to put me on more magnesium, you know. Like, thank God. That's why I say, like, if you're pregnant or whatever, just go with your instinct, because you already have your mommy instincts. You know, no one knows better for their kids than their parents. I'm sorry, it's just not. Like, you got your mommy instinct. I already knew. I felt it. I said no, and I thank God for that, because who knows what could have happened. That's so crazy. It's just, like, talking about it just brought back all that. Who knows what could have happened. God forbid if I would have listened to them and I would have stood there, I wouldn't have my girls. Or me. Or I wouldn't be here. So always go with your gut. Always go with your gut. Don't believe that just because they're doctors and they have their degrees that they know more than you. No, no, no. If it doesn't feel right, it's because it's not right. So, let me just calm down, Melissa. I'm not emotionally, like, I'm not sad or anything about it. Like, it's just, it's crazy to think that I went through this, you know. So anyways, thank God for St. Barnabas. They sent me home. That was good. My babies were good, and that's all I cared about. And then, yeah, then after that, my doctor and us, we agreed, Dr. Chef and me, you know, that no other doctor would, you know, see me. Because I know it sounds weird that, like, another doctor, but it's because of the way they do it in Hoboken. They have, like, it's called Care Point Health, something like that. So it's like, they always have doctors on call, so they're not gonna, it's literally like, if your doctor's not available, your doctor's not available. Like, there's another doctor. That's just how the program or whatever works. So we agreed, you know, I spoke to Dr. Chef. I said, I don't want anything done unless you are there, you know, like, nothing, because I've had such a bad experience, and I don't want to go through that again. So ideally, I was really trying to give birth in St. Barnabas. Even if I wasn't gonna have it by Dr. Chef, I was like, whatever, I know that they're a good hospital, they'll take care of me, there's good doctors there. But I was really trying to give birth in St. Barnabas. Like, you could ask my family. I was there about, like, 5 times. Like, oh, you sure you don't want to take him out? Yeah, no, okay, cool. But anyways, it ended up being a scheduled C-section. I was gonna give birth naturally, but because both girls were head down, so if they're both head down, you can give birth naturally. But then Joy decided to move within the last week. They gave me, like, a time frame because the girls were really big, and, like, I mean, I don't know, I think what was left for my skin to, like my stomach to just rip open, because I was big. So because Joy became transverse, we scheduled a C-section, and I told Chef, like, you better be there. If you're not there, I'm leaving. And everything was set up. I even recorded a video. I don't know if I'm gonna put the video, maybe, I don't know. But here we are, last day with the belly. I look so swollen. My face got irritated from the soap, so don't mind it. But anyway, it was a fun run. You guys got big pretty quick. I love you girls so much. And I cannot wait to meet you guys tomorrow. Because I thought I was going to die. Like, for real, I really did think I was going to die. I was anemic during my pregnancy. I did get iron treatments, but like, I don't know, I just felt like it was a really big surgery. I got freaked out. I was just preparing myself to die, so I made a video so my girls could see, like, you know, I love you and this is us as one, and tomorrow I may not be here. Thank God everything went well the next morning, and this is hell for a pregnant woman. You're not allowed to eat when you're gonna have C-section. I'm not sure if you're allowed to eat when you're gonna give birth naturally. No, I think you're just not allowed to eat in general, because God forbid you do have to get into emergency section. You can't have anything in your stomach that could cause you to die. So it's like very serious. So I had to stop drinking water, stop eating at 12 a.m. So you best believe I was being a fat ass right before all of that. So no eating. We woke up at 7 a.m. We woke up at like 5 because we needed to be at the hospital by 7 a.m. I was scheduled to for the C-section at 10:30, but with the setup and everything, they want you there early. So we got there at 7. I'm freaking out. I don't do good with needles, and I just know that like people said this epidural needle is like a really big needle, goes in your back, and I'm thinking like, oh my God, because they say if you move, like, it's just super dangerous. It's your back, you know. So I'm thinking like, oh, it's over, like I'm gonna be paralyzed, like, or I don't know, I'm not gonna survive this shot, or maybe I'm just not gonna be able to give birth at all. And my daughters are just gonna have to figure it out in there. Like, go, right, it's time. They're like, they bring in the wheelchair, and I'm like, oh no. I'm freaking out. And then I knew that heel was allowed, because when you do C-section they only allow one person, compared to when you do natural they allow like 2 people or whatever, you know. Again, this is my experience, they only allow 1 person in the room with me. But I wanted Hio to be there with me when they were doing my epidural, because I need someone there for me when I get a shot. Like, I really freak out. Like, I'm a jumper, I'm a shaker, I don't do good with needles. So I was like, oh, he can't come with me, and they're like, unfortunately, like, while we're prepping, no one's allowed to be in there. And I'm like, so I'm freaking out. They're rolling me in. I remember just seeing a clear white hallway, lights shining, like, you know, in the movies when they like focus in the hallway and it's like the lights are like zzz, zzz, like, that's how I felt. Like, I saw that and I was like, oh my God. Then we make a turn into the door, bro. I see this lady there counting all the tools that they're gonna use. I'm talking about like knife, machete. I don't even know, but it was a whole bunch of different knives, and I was like, they're gonna use that on me? It was like really big knives. I'm not even playing with you. They had their little knives, they have big ones, they got scissors, like, but no, then I would tell the nurse, I'm like, you know, I do freak out with needles and whatever, like, can you hold my hand? And she was like, I can't hold your hand because I have to count these things. She was like, but take the pillow, like, we give a pillow. And I was like, I need a hand, but whatever. So I took the pillow. The anesthesiologist, I can't even say that word, comes in, and he goes, okay, are you ready? And I saw, like, I was like, just don't show me the needle, because if I see it, I'm gonna freak out. Like, I went like that. So before, you know, entering anything, and I saw the needle and I freaked myself out even more, and I was like, oh my God, that's about to enter me. So then he was like, all right, honey, just like crouch, you know, and they tell you not to move. And I'm like, oh my God, like, how am I not supposed to move? So then I felt the tip of the needle like go on my back, and I'm like, and he's like, don't move, don't move, don't move. And I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then it goes, and I'm like, you done? And he was done. No lie to you, when you give birth, the IV that they put through here hurts 10 times more than the epidural. I was like, I'm a boss, I'm a boss, I'm a boss. That didn't even hurt. And then, you know, they started just playing with my legs until I couldn't feel nothing, and it felt so weird, because it's like you literally go numb from like where they shoot you down, so I could feel my legs. Like, I just felt weird. I felt like a potato that couldn't move. I was just there like like, literally, I was just there laughing like, they're like, do you feel anything? I'm like, no, I don't. And then it started to get to business. Giovanni came in the room, and then like, I guess they started opening me up. I don't know, but it smelled like they were burning something nasty. Like, that's how it smelled. It just smelled like burnt something. I don't want to say burnt food, but it just smelled burnt. So I was like, okay. I didn't feel anything like the cutting me open. I did not feel any of that. All I felt was when it was time to take out the baby. They're like, okay, we're gonna take out baby A, and then my doctor's like, who's that? I'm like, that's Riley. So then all you feel is like tugging. Like, you could feel that they like tugging, you know, open you, you know, going like that and tugging them out. That's all you felt, is tug. It didn't hurt. It just feels really weird. They take baby out. I hear Riley crying, and I'm like, oh my god, my baby. And then boom, Joy comes out, and they put them right here for me for like 2 seconds, and then they had to take them away because Riley had a murmur in her heart, and Joy couldn't keep her temperature up, so they needed to take him and, you know, put him in ICU. So I couldn't really see them, you know, much. And then after the surgery, I got put into my room, which I wasn't able to see the babies at all, and that killed me because since they were in the incubator, you know, like, there's no way for me to see them because I'm supposed to be on a bed, and they can't roll the bed into where the babies are, where all the babies in the incubators are, because it's just too tiny. It won't work out. So I kept calling that night. That night I didn't sleep at all. I kept calling. I'm like, I think I'm okay to walk now. Like, I think I'm okay to walk now. Can I go see my babies? And they're like, no, you do need to rest. Like, you know, wait until tomorrow, or wait until the doctor can clear you. Like, tell me, you know, whatever. Yo, when I tell you I kept calling every hour. I didn't call. My last phone call was like at 4 a.m. in the morning. Like, I kept calling. I wasn't playing. I really wanted to see my babies. And then I had family members coming in and being like, oh my god, I saw the girls, they're so beautiful. He was like, oh, I kept checking on them. So imagine, like, just giving birth and not being able to see your babies, and then having everybody tell you how beautiful they are and how they look. Like, I was heartbroken. I was like, okay, I get it, they're cute, but like, I don't know, like, it hurt me because I really want to see them. So the next day I called 4 a.m., called 6 a.m. They're like, nah, yeah, honey, like, you know, you need to lay down because they were scared if I got up or something, like, I guess I could bleed. I don't know. But finally, at 12:30 p.m., I got the okay that I could walk, and that was the first step I took after having my C-section. It does hurt. It feels like a ache, you know, but it's nothing horrible. It wasn't bad. I was walking fine. When I saw the baby, well, no, I wasn't walking fine. I was walking slow. By the second day, I was walking fine. But first day, I was walking slow. I got to see my munchies. I held them. They were so tiny compared to how they are now. Like, just enjoy every second because I swear they get so big so fast. Like, oh my god. So anyways, yeah, then we saw them and it was beautiful. I stayed in the hospital for 4 days. The babies had to stay in ICU. Joy stood for a week and Riley stood for a week and 4 days. So Joy came home first, then Riley. It hurt a lot leaving Riley. That broke me. It really did. It broke me. It hurt me a lot deeper than I thought it was going to hurt me. So yeah, so when we picked up Joy, it really hurt me leaving Riley, but I did ask if they could stay there together considering that they're twins, but you know, obviously they can't because every day they have to send a report to the insurance, and if there's nothing to report, that means I would have to pay out of pocket, and to have Joy be there with Riley for those 4 days would have costed $4,000 every night. So yeah. But then we finally picked up Riley and we finally had our beautiful family together, and that's when the journey started, man. So if you guys want to know any more about dealing with, you know, NICU, your babies being in NICU, or experiences or whatever, just let me know. Anything, mom questions, whatever, it doesn't matter, I'm here for y'all. So anyways, thank you for hearing my story. I hope you guys enjoy it, and if so, please like and subscribe and comment. Mwah. Thanks for chilling with me, guys.